Hello guys, hello friends, welcome back to the channel. This is BedirKM2. Today we are going to put one of the most controversial topics in World of Tanks right on the table. RNG. Why? Because new RS line is coming to the game and you will make many shoots without reload and RNG will be a very big problem for you. Also, there is a new sniper heavy tank, CTK2, and RNG will affect that tank too. So let me say this very clearly from the start. After matchmaking, RNG is the second biggest problem in this game. But the real issue is not the existence of RNG itself. The real issue is that players believe something about RNG that simply isn't true. The biggest myth of the game. RNG is equal for everyone. You have all heard this sentence. You probably say it to yourself and at some point, RNG is applied equally to everyone, so it's fair, it must be fair. At first glance that sounds logical, because that's exactly what wargaming says. The numbers are fixed, plus 25% and minus 25%. So if everyone gets the same percentages, that should be fair, right? No, it is not. Because there is a fundamental logical mistake here. Players confuse probability with outcome. Let me explain this with a very simple example. I have 4 cards. 3 are white, 1 is red. I flip them face down, shuffle them and tell you, one of these cards is red. Pick one randomly. Your chance to pick the red card is what? 25%. Pure luck. Now, here is the question. How many times do you fail before you say, wait a second, something is not right here? 3 times? 5 times? 10 times? Now, imagine this. After every 3 shuffles, I briefly show you the red card and tell you it is still in the deck. But in reality, in 2 out of every 3 rounds, that red card isn't even there anymore. You just can't see it. What would you think? Well, I just saw the red card in the deck. It must be in here somewhere. My friends, that is illusion. That's exactly how magicians work. They show you something and you believe it. This is exactly how RNG works in World of Tanks. Yes, in theory, every shell can get plus minus 25% penetration. Every shot can deal plus minus 25% damage. Every shot can deviate by 25 plus minus percent. But this is potential, not outcome. The game offers equal probability, not equal results. And in a competitive game, fairness is measured not by probabilities, but by results. Now, think about this. 2 players. Both play 100 battles. Player 1 gets average or above average RNG in most of them. Player 2 constantly gets below average RNG. And ask both of them, is RNG equal for everyone? On paper, yes. In practice, no. Player 1 will say yes. Player 2 will say no. Because one player pens his shots, deals high damages, breaks modules, wins engagements, while the other always bounces, rolls low damages, gets no critical hits, loses fights instantly. And this difference doesn't come from decision making. It comes from who RNG favors in that battle. And here is the really important part. World of Tanks doesn't have one RNG system. It has 4 different RNG systems running at the same time, each with up to 25% influence. Accuracy RNG, penetration RNG, damage RNG, module RNG. So every time you fire a shot, the game rolls 4 dice at once. Will the shell go exactly where you aim? Will it penetrate the armor? How much damage will it deal? How it damage a module, or will it damage a module? None of these are guaranteed. Here is something most players don't realize. RNG does not have to balance itself during a match or during a day. There is no rule that says you bounced earlier 2 times in this battle. Now you will pen. Or you rolled low damages before in this battle. Now you will roll high. RNG has no memory, my friends, and the game does not owe you balance. That means this: you can have an entire battle or entire day with consistently bad RNG. And for you, that match or that day is over before it even begins. Now, let's leave the theory and look at a concrete example. A completely realistic scenario. 2 E50M tanks. Same crew, same equipment, same skills, same ammunition, same position. A pure 1 versus 1. E50M stats: 390 damage, 270 penetration, 0.29 dispersion, 250, 80, 80 turret armor, 160, 80, 80 hull armor. Perfect symmetry. You cannot create a fairer situation than this. Now, RNG enters the picture. Tank A gets 5 high positive RNG, and Tank B gets 3 low negative RNG. First shots, Tank A. Penetration plus 20%, so it is 324. Damage is plus 20%, so it's 468. Shell goes exactly where aimed and module damages. Tank B. Penetration minus 20%, so 216. Damage minus 20%, 312. Slight dispersion, either a bounce or no critical hits. So after the very first shots, the psychological advantage is gone for B. Okay, they reloaded, and second shots, Tank A. Pens again, high rolls again, and Tank B's HP drops fast. And let's check the B. Aims at a weak spot, low pen RNG, and it gets a bounce, or pens but rolls very low damage. At this point, Tank B will start to think, what am I doing wrong? The answer is simple: nothing. So if we think about the third shots or fourth shots, the result will be obvious. You can make many shots in a game, in a battle, and I am just talking about 3 shots. It is going to ruin all game for you. The only difference is which side RNG is on. This is why players say, I couldn't do anything this much. My tank doesn't penetrate. I died in 10 seconds. The game is against me. And most of the time they are not wrong. The problem is not you. The problem is not your tank. Or problem is not your position, which worked for the last time. The problem is that RNG decides the outcome of the battle. And that's why RNG is, after matchmaking, the second biggest flaw in World of Tanks. So, my friends, if you agree, let me know in the comments. I read them all. If you disagree, explain me why. I really want to know. This was BedirKM2. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.